So this is the beginning of what we hope will be a number of podcast episodes. This is our very first one. My name is Diana Gonzalez, mejor conocida como la Chamaca aquí en San Antonio, Texas.
¿No estás casado o qué? ¿Eh?
Why do you ask me that?
Yo soy Javi Gómez. Estoy casado con Diana González. Mejor conocida como la Chamaca.
Esa merita. So
let's talk about that first.
Let's talk about that first.
About the last name deal. I don't think that's a funny subject, but I guess.
Why are you looking at me like that? Why are you starting to sweat?
It's fucking hot in here.
Starting glistening and stuff. Well, we have started this podcast. This is just 2/3 of what will be the full team. The other third of the team will be
he's a VIP.
Will be presented at a later time in a further episode.
Es artista.
But anyways, we'll work with what we have, and this is 2/3 of the team. And basically we're just a couple and one of our very good friends who always get together, like to talk, have fun, make fun of each other, make fun of other people in a good way, in a constructive way, not in a mean bully type of way, but
say no to bullying.
And we decided to throw together this podcast and talk about things that we deal with, talk about things that everybody else is dealing with, things that are going on in the world, things that are going on in our lives, because all of us are individually going through different stages in our life. We have myself, who I have been in communications for about half of my life.
Is this a motivational speech?
No, I'm just trying to get to...
I'm just joking.
I'm trying to let everybody know who I am and get a sense of where I'm coming from. But anyways, I've been in communications for the last 15 years, so half of my life. And with that, I'm pretty much giving away my age, right? So yes, Chamaca does not really fit my persona anymore, but I consider myself young at heart, which is the important thing. That's what counts, right? I guess not, because nobody is answering me.
Say it again. You consider what? I'm posting our first IG story.
Oh, I am also a wife, a mother of 2 toddlers, a daughter, a sister, and an all-around go-getter, not afraid to say what I think type of person. And to my right-hand side, I have my husband of 2 years.
But I've known your ass for like...
We've known each other for... Let's see, I've been here in San Antonio for 10 years. And we knew each other when I was in Portland. So that would be about add another 2 years. So probably like 12 years. We've known each other for about 12 years.
Yep. Long time.
Don't sound so enthusiastic.
I am enthusiastic.
Well, anyways, this is my husband, Javier Gomez, a.k.a. Javi, or El Javi.
What's going on?
Originally born and raised in San Antonio, Texas. And regardless of what he says and what he will tell you, no, I did not come chasing him to San Antonio, Texas.
Yes, you did.
But anyways.
I have proof, bro.
Anyways, introduce yourself.
What's going on? I'm Javier Gomez. Everybody knows me as Javi. I was born and raised here in San Antonio, Texas, about 27 years ago. 28 years ago, to be exact.
So we're going to start off with lies, right? Is that how we're going to go? Is that the route we're going to go down?
Everybody lies, girl. So yeah, we met. Was it in Portland or was it in?
Yes, we met in Portland.
And I mean, I know it was in Oregon. I don't remember what happened last week. You want me to remember what happened 12 years ago? So I was in a band. I was a musician, and we had a gig over there in Oregon. And this chick hit on me, and here we are.
Short and sweet.
Short
Just
and
like
sweet.
any typical man, right? Just straight to the point. Here is how La Chamaca met Javi. This is the real story.
A ver.
So, yes, he is correct. We did meet in Oregon. I'm originally from Central Oregon. A big shout out to the people out there in Primeville. It is a three stoplight town, and then you've gone through the whole town. So
What did Gino say? 3 people town?
pretty much, yeah.
Shout out to Gino and the Luna and Rumbly podcast.
If you blink, you might miss the town. So, yeah, that's how small it is. But then when I graduated, I moved to Portland, Oregon. And that is where I started working for a Mexican regional station. And during one of those, was it an event or no, you guys were just playing at a club, I think.
We actually met at a hotel. Right? Was that the first time we met?
Yeah. And no, do not think dirty. Do not think dirty.
Think dirty.
No, they were going to go play out there, and I had just started with this radio station, and some of the other workers there at the station, they were going to go and hang out at this concert, right? So they invited me. So I was the newbie there, and I wanted to get to know everybody and become friends with everybody. So I'm like, okay, sure, I'll go to this concert. I didn't really know the band. I didn't really wasn't too familiar with the music or anything, but
How could you not?
I just wanted to kick it with my friends from the station, and have them put in a good word for me. So here I am tagging along. They take me to the hotel because they wanted to say hi to these guys before we got to the club.
Because we were popular.
And we get to the hotel, and I remember walking in, and there was these 2 guys laying down, each one on a twin size bed, one on each bed, and we go walk in, and we sit around and just start talking, and we just started talking with them and talking about who we were, where we were from, the typical stuff that you talk about when
At a hotel?
at a hotel.
Yeah.
When you meet people.
Yeah.
Before you what?
We're going to have to cut that out. It's going to get rated
No,
X.
that did not happen. That did not happen. Anyways.
That day.
So then we all go and head out to the club, and we start jamming out to this music, and yes, they were pretty good. I have to admit that. And we hit it off, and I think you guys were there for a couple of days, because I remember that we went the following day. We all met up at the mall. You guys were still in town, and we all met up at the mall, and we were hanging out, and this one over here asks me for my phone number.
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
I don't remember, dude.
That's really bad, right? He doesn't remember anything, but here I am remembering every single little detail, to the point where I even remember that we were walking around in the mall, and there was this older gentleman walking around with his kid, and his kid was throwing a fit, like a straight up tantrum, one of those tantrums that you just want to gobble them and eat them up alive because you're so embarrassed everybody's watching you. And I don't know if I think I asked him, oh my goodness, imagine you getting older one day and having to deal with kids like that. And he looked at me straight in the eye, and he told me, my kids will never act like that.
And do they?
Do they?
Do they?
Do they?
Out in public, do they? Do they?
No, we've been blessed with good kids, though.
Exactly.
It's not necessarily whether it's because of you or not, but we've been blessed with good children.
Yep.
And as you can tell, he cannot elaborate on any of that story because he doesn't remember any of it.
I don't. I honestly don't. Like, for some reason, I have like a real bad memory.
Were you dropped when you were younger? Maybe.
That's not nice.
I'm just saying because that can mess up your brain. That can cause injuries. That can cause long-lasting effects like losing your memory.
Shit.
I don't know. Maybe you should talk to your...
Maybe I should call my mom.
Maybe you should.
Should I call her right now?
You should call her right now.
Let me call her and ask her that. Just keep talking.
So while he is dialing my suegra's number, and don't tell her that I told you that, okay? Because then she's going to think that I'm an instigator and trying to start something. Trying to start some drama. But anyways, that's how we met. We exchanged numbers, and from then on, we just called each other, texted each other. We would email each other until it got to a certain point where I thought we were both having feelings for each other, but I guess it was just me because after all this messaging back and forth and emailing and stuff, all of a sudden one day he just stops taking my calls and doesn't answer. He doesn't text me. He doesn't, nothing. Like, I just don't hear from this guy. It's like in the movies when you just hear crickets, that's pretty much what happened. So I was like,
so it's going to be one of those podcasts?
I was like, why is he not answering? Like, what happened? I mean, it was going so well. We were talking so cool. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to give it one last shot. Maybe something's wrong with his phone. Here I am trying to make up excuses for him and give him the benefit of the doubt. Saying maybe his phone service is cut off. His phone isn't working. Maybe he's been really busy lately. I don't know. I mean, this guy to me, he's a superstar, going out, doing gigs and stuff like this, traveling the world. So maybe he's just super busy. So
and on to the next subject.
I take my phone and I dial, is it star 67, I think, that makes your it makes your call anonymous. Is it star 67? Back in the day when we had those types of phones?
Yeah, it is star 67.
Okay, well, I star 67 him, and guess what? After, I don't know how many times that he would not answer the phone, several times at different times of the day, on different days that he wouldn't answer the phone, I star 67, and guess what happens? Guess. Guess what happened?
Don't tell me I answered.
Yes, you did. That is exactly what happened. You answered the phone.
Okay, let's call Mom.
And I didn't reply or anything. I just hung up. But basically, that was the indicator. I knew what had gone down.
So we're calling my mom.
No va a contestar.
Bueno.
Mamá.
Sí.
¿Qué estás haciendo?
Ando trapeando.
¿Estás muy ocupada?
¿Por qué?
Porque te quería hacer una pregunta.
Dímela.
Oye, cuando estaba chiquillo, no me caí y me pegué en la cabeza muy fuerte.
Ay, ¿por qué?
Porque dice Diana que si me tumbaste cuando estaba chiquillo, que si me caí, porque no me acuerdo de muchas cosas.
Necesito. Ay. Si están bromeando o están en serio.
Pues estamos bromeando, pero me puse a pensar, porque le digo que no me acuerdo de muchas cosas y dice que si a lo mejor tú me tumbaste y me pegué en la cabeza cuando estaba chiquillo. No que me tumbaras tú o que no te acuerdas que si me caí o algo.
No, pues no me acuerdo. Porque ella sí se cayó, pues ella también todo se le olvida.
¿Verdad que sí? A ella, a mi suegra también. Siempre se les olvida la bolsa y las llaves y pierden esto y lo otro. Ahí tengo que andar yo buscando su teléfono en la carretera, ¿no te acuerdas?
No, pues si tú eres el que andas como ayudándoles y todo, entonces no creo que te hayas caído.
Las caídas son otras.
La que sí se dio buen chingazo fue de Juani cuando estaba chiquita. Y Clarisa
Clarisa también.
también.
Pobrecitas.
Ajá.
Está bueno. Pues al
No,
ratito,
hombre,
al ratito te hablamos.
sí te oía sospechoso tú, me asustas.
Está bueno.
Ándale, mijo, bye.
Bueno, bye. There you go.
Well, that clears that. So I guess your memory loss has to do with something else.
You know what it probably has to do with?
What?
With getting drunk.
Getting drunk?
Yeah. They say that
Alcohol messes up your brain.
kills neurons.
I mean, not only that, it also kills your liver.
Okay, next
Kills
subject. So what happened? So where are we at?
We were where you ghosted me, basically.
Okay, next subject. And with that, we close the podcast.
It's a wrap.
So yeah, she said I ghosted her and I don't remember. But hey, here we are. I've taken her before God and made her my wife. She's given me 2 beautiful kids. And I just think that whatever happens in your past, like, it doesn't really matter now. I mean, of course it does matter, but you can't let your past affect you so much. Because then you're not going to push forward and enjoy the present moment.
And I don't recall how we started talking again, actually.
I was probably drunk, and I called you drunk for you to go pick me up somewhere.
But that was here in San Antonio.
Should we put that on the podcast or not? Hell yeah, we're gonna put that on the podcast.
That'll
we're gonna
be a
real.
story. That'll be a story for the next one.
That'll be a story.
Now, I don't recall how we started talking again after you ghosted me. That I don't remember, but the fact of the matter is that we started
You
talking.
can't say ghosted because that ghosted was not even a word back then.
But you had already invented it without even knowing.
Damn. I should look that up and copyright that.
So yeah, here we are. I think it was probably like a year and a half or 2 years after we met that I decided that it was time to start looking for bigger opportunities. Even though I love Portland and secretly I hope to one day move back. That's something that I'm working on.
Yeah, we're not.
I decided that it was time to look into trying to see if I could get an opportunity or a door opened for me in a bigger market. And that is when I started researching and looking for where there was job opportunities in radio, because that's what I wanted to do. And it so happened that San Antonio, or Texas in general, there was a lot of...
San Antonio? Como dice JJ? San Antonio?
San Antonio. There was a lot of opportunity over here in Texas. So I have family here in San Antonio, and I decided that it would probably be the smartest choice to up and leave my family over there and come to where I would, not be alone, but surrounded by cousins, aunts, and uncles while I navigated my new life here in...
Who helped you out a lot? Your uncles?
Yeah.
Your uncle and aunt?
Yeah, they did. I lived with my tia Cristina. Shout out to her. Over there on the south side. When I first moved over here to Alamo City, I lived over there off of Zarzamora and Nogalitos for 3 years. My aunt still lives there. So that was my hood when I first moved over here. I think I really got a good taste of what San Antonio was like living in that area, just because it's so... I mean, it's an older part of the city, right? So you really get a taste of the food, the culture, the people, and just daily life here in San Antonio. Or what do you think?
Yep. So yeah, all these stories we're talking about, we'll elaborate on them. Like, I guess we'll do one podcast about this story, one podcast about that story.
Or as we're having conversations, we might just be like, "Oh, do you remember when that happened?" And we could start talking about that. But
yeah, no, once Nino's here, it's gonna be a whole different story. And this podcast is gonna be pretty much I always say pretty much, right? This podcast is gonna be bilingual. We've been talking nothing but English right now, but the main language was supposed to be Spanish.
or Spanglish.
Spanglish. But we're gonna have a bilingual podcast. We're gonna be talking about everything. Life,
marriage,
drama,
parenthood,
the world.
I guess the only thing that I was going to say, the only thing we won't talk about is politics because things will get heated.
Yeah, we'll throw a joke here and there about politics because I'm not a politic fan, but she is. We're going to be talking about music, about celebrities, about...
We will be bringing in guests.
Guests, yes. We're going to have a lot of guests and people from all shapes and sizes, cultures, different backgrounds. It's not necessarily, we're not going to be necessarily bringing somebody famous here, which we hope to have someone extremely famous here. And we will, because
we're blowing up.
I'm putting that out there in the world. But yeah, we're gonna be interviewing. Well, not interviewing, but like
sharing stories
of people who have come up from rags to riches, from
who have inspired us personally,
people who have overcome bad situations. And from rags to riches, I don't necessarily mean, oh, they were poor and now they're super rich. No, rags to riches to me can be, well, rags to riches is when you're poor and then you're rich. But
when you come out of a situation that you're in that might not be the best situation, but you come out and you're in a better place.
Yep. Like we're a big example of that.
Or we feel like we're an example.
Yes, we feel like we're an example. Because we have come a long way, a very long way, and we're still a long ways to go. But we have gone through obstacles that is just amazing that we're still here, standing together, pulling through. It's not easy. It hasn't been easy. It's not gonna be easy. But I feel like God is the only one that's done that for us. I've always been a believer since I was a little kid, and still am a believer, but I know for a fact that God is the one that pulled us through. And that's another thing we'll be talking about in this podcast, about God. And yes, I might cuss in here and there or most of the time, but I am a believer, and I believe that everything I am, was, and will be is because of God. And that's something that we will be talking about here. We will be trying to inspire other people as well, right?
That's one of the priorities.
Just, me in my life personally, like every dream that I've had, I've accomplished, and these are like big dreams. Like one dream is like I became a professional musician. And that's something that I've always wished when I was a little kid. When I was playing local here, my dream was to become a professional musician, to tour. I toured around all the U.S. and
parts of Mexico.
And I just think that could inspire somebody that wants to do something. You don't necessarily have to go be a musician, but just a dream that you've had back in the back of your mind, like forever. I mean, you can do whatever you set your mind to. I'm a strong believer in that.
And to second that, I too am a strong believer that if you hold on to God, trust Him with all your heart, and let Him lead you, things will fall into place. I think we're all born destined for something. And it's just upon us to let him follow, or to let him lead us and us follow. And I feel like I'm an example of that too, because the things that I've been through, the things that I've been able to accomplish have definitely only been because of him. Otherwise, I don't think any of that would have happened.
Are you done?
I think so.
Okay. So with that, we close off our first podcast. Our next podcast, we will have our buddy Nino here, the artist that he couldn't make it today. No, we decided to not do this first one with him. So the second one will be all about him. And just tag along with us, man. This is gonna be a fun ride, and I think it's gonna be something cool to listen to and watch.
And that's a wrap.
Peace.